very important finding that the West needs to process. Yashwant, I'm going to slightly shift gear because the Sea Water Survey has also been looking at another question that seems to follow Mr. Jaishankar every time he's outside India, and that is the question of the Indian Muslim. The allegations of discrimination, the allegation of the Modi government somehow being perceived in the Western media and Western commentary as being anti-Muslim or not inclusive of Muslims. This was a question posed to Mr. Jaishankar. I know you have some findings of the recent anti-Muslim comments made by BJP MP Ramesh Biduri on the floor of the House. But before we come to that, let's look at what Mr. Jaishankar said on the broader question of Indian Muslims. Listen in.
So today, since you brought up the issue of minorities in India, look, what is the test really of fair and good governance, or of the balance of a society? It would be whether, in terms of the amenities, the benefits, the access, the rights, do you discriminate or not? And in every society in the world, at some point, there's been some discrimination on some basis. So if you look at India today, it's a society today where there's a tremendous change taking place, because people are the biggest change happening today in India is the creation of a social welfare system in a society which has less than $3,000 per capita income. Nobody has done that in the world before. Now, when you look at the benefits of that, you look at housing, you look at health, you look at food, you look at finance, you look at access, educational access, health access. There's no, I defy you to show me discrimination. I mean, in fact, the more digital we have become, the more in a way, faceless the governance has become. Actually, it's become fairer. But as I said, this is a globalized world. There will be people, you will have people gripe about it. And much of the griping is also political. Let me be very frank with you. Because we've also had a culture of vote banks. And there are sections who had, in their own eyes, a certain privileged access, who today may resent the fact that they don't. It's a phenomenon with which you are not unfamiliar. I think these will be the turbulence of a democratic society.
All right. And now, Mr. Jaishankar was not talking about Ramesh Biduri's speech. He was answering a macro question on Indian Muslims. But your survey looks specifically at Ramesh Biduri's language, in which he included words like pimp and terrorist. Some words are not even repeatable. And an overwhelming number of those polled, across party lines again, say that what happened was absolutely unacceptable. Now, we're going to go through these slides one by one. I'm going to hand it over to you to take us through some of the key findings on what was, inarguably hate speech.
Barka, one was the external affairs issue and one is the internal affairs issue. But this is again to underline how non-partisan can the Indians be when it comes to the crux of the core of issues. This two-thirds overwhelming majority of people who would say it's absolutely unacceptable, somewhat unacceptable, only 7.6 of the extremist side that they say it's acceptable. And this is across the party line. The same number that, the opposition voters that say it is unacceptable, same number of the BJP voters are saying unacceptable. And the similar number, almost like 73% plus, are saying he should be apologizing, that too unconditionally. So that is actually very, very, let's say, reassuring of sort that politics and the political cacophony or the political campaigning rhetoric aside, the Indians at large are very clear what they do not.
And more than 80% of them also commented on where this speech was made, which was Parliament.
Exactly, they were very clear that on the floor of the House, it has degraded the Parliament's, reputation in a way. They are expecting that the Speaker would take a stringent decision on that one. In fact, an overwhelming majority says either he's to be immediately suspended. There should be a law, and there should be even lifetime bar on people making these kind of comments on the floor of the House. They are going to that extent.
This is a very interesting number on the screen. Most people want an immediate suspension of Ramesh Biduri.
Exactly. And this again, majority of the even BJP voters are saying the same thing. That forget about the inquiry, forget about what we saw on the screen, what we see on the national TV. He said that he should be immediately suspended then and there. But I tell you one thing, one data which was actually concerned me a lot. And ideally speaking, if the strategists of the BJP are really looking at these numbers, they should be concerned a lot as well, for a simple reason that there are two set of questions, Barkha, that we ask. One, should the BJP take the disciplinary action? 71% yes. But will the BJP take such an action? There is a big number unsure. They said that probably this rhetoric, these things are going to be just left. And see, that's the number. 41% saying no, they don't believe. So 71% saying BJP should be taking a decision, a disciplinary action, and half of those number wipes out when they ask, will the BJP do so? That I believe should be a sorry state. That I believe should be an alarming signal for the BJP decision makers that public has started thinking so low of them in that way. So unless they do not take any decision on Biduri and they prove public right, this is not going to help them. I'm not saying that this is a decision, this is an issue which is going to change the entire 2024 election or anything. Yeah, but cumulatively speaking, this is something which will add up to the disappointment of even the BJP supporters.
Yeah, I want to actually bring up the slides of how you looked at this data through the eyes of NDA voters, if we can have that. Because, one of the things that sometimes said is that the BJP doesn't act because, okay, hang on. So will this damage BJP's efforts to woo Pasmanda Muslims? And more than 65% actually say yes. But these are all NDA voters. These are NDA voters who are saying Biduri's remarks are going to damage BJP's efforts to woo Pasmanda Muslims. NDA voters also disapprove. This isn't just Congress voters saying what Biduri did was wrong. Even NDA voters, and we have that slide, also disapprove of what Biduri said and find it absolutely unacceptable. Can we go to NDA voters? Yes, 62.5% of NDA voters want BJP to. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, should BJP take disciplinary action against Biduri? 62.5% of NDA voters. I want you to talk about this because Ramesh Biduri was just given some poll responsibility in Rajasthan, even while the show cause notice against him is yet to be answered. These are the NDA's own voters.
Exactly, and I don't think these numbers should are anywhere near celebratory remarks. If the BJP is thinking that, okay, this is like another way of putting up a Hindutva mascot in front of the people, and it is going to help them. I think they are reading it wrong. Somewhere down the line, people have that sense of deep sense of what is acceptable and what is absolutely unacceptable. Down the line, people understand that some things are wrong. Something in the society, in the heat of the movement, in the bahasbaji outside, in the mohalla street, thug levelry kind of thing, people say that they name it that way. On the floor of the House, the decorum has to be maintained, where people look into the parliamentarians that they will behave in a certain manner as their representative. If the people are not finding them good enough, and I mean, it pains me to say, the gentleman is elected by South Delhi Lok Sabha seat, the elitist of the elite, if India can see in that way. I don't think people are approving of that. And it is heartening, actually, Barkha, to see that such an overwhelming number of the BJP and NDA voters are unaccepting that, are saying loud and clear, this is wrong and this should not go unpunished.
Final question on this. The BJP has a clear message in this survey. Their own voters, overwhelming majority, does not approve of what Biduri said. The BJP then would be well advised to pay attention to these numbers instead of conflating noise on social media, where some people may have said, "Kya galat hai, kya," and what about the Udaynidhi Stalin also said this. Udaynidhi Stalin is facing a legal case for his comments on Sanatan Dharma, right? So my question to you is, if you were to look at these numbers politically and decode them for the BJP, what would be the one big political message from these numbers?
I think there is a very big political message for the BJP and the opposition alike. When we did a snap poll on the Sanatan Dharma, equally large number of people who were opposition voters said what Stalin said was wrong, should not have been said, and he should apologize. And equally bigger number of BJP voters are saying what Mr. Biduri has said is completely unaccepted, and he should unconditionally apologize. If not, he should be disqualified, he should be thrown out. So what is, people are very clear in their mind. What is funny here, Barkha, neither the BJP leader nor the opposition, somehow on some of the issues, they are not clear. And that is what amazes me on that way, that one might think of some kind of polarization politics, which helps them sometimes, understandable. People play ideological crowds, understandable. That is also fine. But even while saying, and I say it with full responsibility, Barkha, that worst of the things can be said in the most civil way. We all agree to disagree, but there are Lakshman Rekhas, which are never to be crossed. And I think this was one Lakshman Rekha which was crossed, and public is not accepting that.
I will say in the end, when I say thank you to you, Yashwant, is that both your surveys on the external dimension and the internal dimension reflect to me the great wisdom of the Indian voter, that on issues that really matter, Indians can come together. And even on divisive issues, politically, people who are polling on Ramesh Biduri may be poles apart, but they're able to find a common ground, both on how to respond externally and how to respond internally. Is the wisdom, the sagacity of the Indian voter, the maturity of the Indian citizen. And that's very important takeaway. Thank you so much, Yashwant. It's always great talking to you, and we look forward to your new findings on the assembly-bound states, and we'll have you back very soon. Thank you and have a great weekend. Take care, Yashwant.
Take care.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.